Hey, sweet friends. I'm Von Kevitz, designer and maker of VK Dare to Be Original on Galilee Life. Oh, it's been a week. It's been a week. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to find me. Hopefully, somebody joins me. If not, I'm going to keep today short and sweet, anyways, just because we're building John's mom's back porch, Aunt Sophie's back porch. So we're contractors this week. And today is the steps day. So, but let me just, hey, good morning. Oh, good, you're joining. I'm not alone today. Hey, Kelly. Uh, Let me just open with a little prayer. Lord, thank you for another beautiful morning with my sweet creative friends. I'm so glad to have this beautiful time to connect and reach out and reflect with you guys. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, so this week, I think my videos are going to be a lot different because ever since I've been on YouTube, you've always heard my co-host, which is a whining, talking dog that loves to hear his own voice. And he passed this Wednesday. So we said goodbye to Liberty this week, and it was a painful week. And so I considered coming or not coming. I'm like, I don't know what my videos are going to be like, so silent with just my voice now. And if you will go back to any of the past videos, you'll know what I'm talking about half the time. I think as soon as I hit the live, or as soon as I hit the record and my voice starts talking, then all of a sudden you'll hear him in the background. And oh, thank you. Yeah, it's quite an adjustment, but we knew he was not well, and that's why we got the Beagle twins, Eddie and Bobby, to begin with, because we wanted the transition for Indy. We wanted the transition for Indy to be better if we kept ourselves distracted with a bunch of little bouncing beagle pups. And it's working. It's proved to be working. It's tough to be still and mourn and sad when you got two bouncing little baby pups that need your attention. you know. But at the same time, Libs was like 95 pounds, 90 pounds. He was a big dude. So he was a big presence in this family. And so that's taking a little adjusting to get used to. But Indy every day is getting a little bit better. Indy is the second German short hair pointer. He was his little brother. Libs was 9.5. Liberty was 9.5. Independence is 3 years old. So he knew Liberty his whole life, and he was his. I have to find when we got Indy, he was like his little twin, and every single time they would lay on the couch, they always looked the same, like they were in the same positions. It was like Indy was always mimicking Liberty. And my SD card on my phone somehow is not working, and so all those pictures are in there, and I want to find them all and do a collage to show how many times those two were like twins. I always like, oh, another twin picture, because they always had the same weird position. And then we got twins who are actually the dead opposite of one another. The Beagle twins are so opposite of each other. It's hysterical how opposite they are. Oh, Lori, I'm so sad. I loved hearing him in the background. Right? Exactly. I don't know. Did you love hearing? Because at the time I was always annoyed, but now it's like weird. It's weird. I feel like I'm now sitting in a sound studio with dead silence. Half the time I'm always like, Liberty, come on. Shh. Let me hear myself for a minute. Something weird and unusual. I think Indy started to is starting to like sound like the beagles with his barking. He's doing this weird bow, and I'm like, "What are you doing, buddy?" So, which is it's a new adjustment because Indy is not an alpha dog, and so him being the big brother to two beagles is like he's like I don't think he's liking his new role. He's not adjusting very well. He liked being the beta, and he liked Libs being the big leader of the group, you know. So I have a feeling in a couple of months, Eddie's going to take over this group, and so so that'll be interesting to watch. But yeah, it was a rough day. So it's been a rough week, and now we're just kind of going through the flow. You know, I had so many awesome messages on Instagram that I didn't. I looked at them, but I didn't comment on them yet. And I'm going to go through that. I think I haven't had the time, or not that I haven't had the time, I haven't mustered up the energy to stop and comprehend what happened this week. See, and this is what I didn't want to do. This is exactly what I didn't want to do. So when I do that, I will come in and I will respond to all of your beautiful comments on Instagram. But I think when I do, it's just gonna hit me, you know, and I'm not quite ready yet to go through that. But, oh my God, I did not think that I would go crying on TV. But this is why I didn't want to do that. I considered coming on here, but because I had the migraine last week, I didn't want to miss too many consecutive weeks of showing up here and connecting with you guys, see if anybody's here. Are you guys creating? It's fall now, so I'm like so excited again. I'm like, I think this is I was like, I need to, if I get time, this is the thing, if I get time, because right now we're building the porch. So today is like shot until the nighttime. And then the nighttime we have to like, because we're out building the porch, we have to keep the beagles in the cage all day, or, you know, until we come back and let them out. So then I feel guilty, and then I have to want to play with them when I'm here. And then all of a sudden it's over. I need to sleep. And then this is how my day is every day until this porch gets done. But I really want to start creating again. It's like fall season. And so do you guys wear scarves? Are you guys, because you know I'm the scarf queen, so I have all these new ideas for scarves, so I want to go and start executing them soon. I still have to finish this cross stitching, and have to finish my godson's pillow that they're being very patiently, quietly not bothering me about, which is not a good thing, because if you're quiet with me, I'm a procrastinator, so you need to sound alarms in front of me, you know, to get me to do anything, which is a horrible thing. I'm working on it, but it's still a reality. nevertheless. But you know, I was talking to Navies yesterday that I realized I'm like, why it's so hard to create is because my vision is going to see close. So I wear contacts all day, and then so I used to, in the middle of the day, like I would find like 5-10 minutes, and I would, or even when I would sit down and watch TV with John, like I would grab something to do and I would create, you know, and make something. But my vision is so bad now that I can't see close with my contacts. So then I can't crochet or do anything or cross stitch or do anything with my contacts in, which basically means I have to go and remove my contacts and go into glasses, and they are like, and then it just that's a whole other thing to set up for, and by the time I do that, I'm exhausted, you know. So that's why I'm like, I think that's why my days are going like craft free for a long time. They are like our children. It's normal to show emotion when you lose someone, even if they are fur babies. They were loved. Oh yes, they were loved, and they loved you back unconditionally. They loved you back without talking. And they, you know what I mean? So they're not arguing with you. They're not being, you know, they are the most innocent of innocent animals. And Liberty was the height of it because he was one of the best that we've ever had. He's so kind and patient. Like the way he handles like new puppies, like is just remarkable. Indy is he's like a little teenager. He's like, no, I don't care about your babies. I don't care about these twin beagles. They're annoying me. Where Liberty was always like yelling at him, like, no, you've got to be nicer to them. You know what I mean? Indy couldn't make a sound around these beagles. He couldn't make a sound around these beagles without Libs letting him have it because he's like, no, you don't bark at them. You have to let them kiss you. You have to let them do all things to you. And yeah, he was just so special. You know, one of the other things he was so special about is John. Whenever John would cut the grass, Libs would walk up and down every single time, up and down the yard following John like he was cutting the grass with him. He never missed a pace. He never missed a lap. It was insane how consistent he was. And even though and John would go, like sometimes he would go so long, but he didn't care. You could tell Libs was tired, but he's like, if Daddy's going, then I'm going, and he would just muster through. This summer was the first summer, the only summer that Libs didn't cut the grass with him. In the beginning, he started to, and he would go a couple of laps, and then he wouldn't. He had to come and lay on the porch and just watch him, and you could tell it was bothering him that he couldn't do it with him. But yeah, never like there was never a dog that did that with him, and he's like, I'm never gonna get that again. He always listened and never condescending. They just love you. Preach, Lori. That's right. they're never they're never condescending. They just love you. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So that's that. And the other thing we used to do when he was a pup, well, for a long time, maybe the first 5 years of his life, we used to every single week I would go to the dollar store and get 7 balloons, one for each day with the helium balloon, and then he would get so excited when he would see those balloons come, and because one a day we would tie after he eats, so it'll be his exercise, and he would get so excited after he eats because then he would just sit and stare at the landing because that's where the balloons are hanging, and he would wait for his one balloon that he would get, and John would tie it on his collar, and John would hit it, and then he would try to jump and go up and go get after it, and sometimes it would take 5 minutes, sometimes it would take like 30 minutes, but whatever it is, like he would just like run around and try to jump up and grab it, and it was such a good exercise, and he just loved it so much, and his goal was to like get it down because he's a bird dog, so he knew to look up. I never thought to do that to Indy. We never thought to do that to Indy because Indy's afraid of everything, so I just think like the helium balloons would just traumatize him. But that was what was so special about Liz, is that he was fearless. He was fearless. Everything you want him to do, he just did. Like whatever you put in front of him, like he just didn't care. Like he was the most fearless dog. He was just a workhorse, you know. Where Indy, he's terrified of bags. the one good, the one blessing is that later on, we don't know what happened, but Libs became very terrified of fireworks. So every 4th of July, like every summer, it would come around the time where he was deathly afraid of fireworks. And Indy is not afraid of fireworks, but because Libs is, he was like terrified of it. And the Beagles weren't afraid, but I think if they were around Libs to be afraid, they would be afraid. So I'm curious to see what next July is going to be like. Next 4th of July, I have a feeling these 3 dogs won't be affected by it, which is a good thing. And you know what I mean? And so I'm grateful that, that Liz doesn't have to live through another fireworks time, because come that time he was miserable. I couldn't hug him hard enough. But when I did hug him, he was perfectly fine. Because, they just terrified him. But we have a good shot that these 3 are not going to be terrified of fireworks. But I don't know with Indy. I don't know. He might pick up a new trait, because he's on edge now. Every single thing is throwing him off because he doesn't have his big security blanket around him. So when he's outside, they're like cutting trees and doing like people are working on their houses. So he's freaking out with ladders and everything over there. So it should be interesting. Yeah, should be interesting. But that's pretty much it. Hey, so you guys, I got these weird yarns from work. You know, these are wool and they're just like these little skeins. What kind of projects do you think I can do with like just a little skein? Should I just do like a, you know, I could probably do a really cool wool scarf with this rainbow color, but I've never done like Tunisian crochet, like not Tunisian, you know, intarsia. Is it intarsia? So, something with like beautiful color work and knitting. I don't know that the word is intarsia, where they do. But I feel like these tiny little things would be great for like Icelandic, you know, those. I can't think of that word in knitting, where they just go one and one south of it to change the colors. But the reason why I don't like to change colors in knitting so much is because I hate weaving in those ends. I'm not confident in it. That's what it is. Because I'm confident in crocheting the ends. Like I never weave in a crochet end. I just crochet over the ends. So I can change billions of colors in crochet and not like blink an eye. But when it comes to knitting, it's like, oh, that's a lot of colors to be weaving in ends. And I've tried to, like, I've knit over ends but it just doesn't, like, it's just not as smooth or as easy, I should say, as crochet. But I'm coming up with a project to do with this too. So many ideas, so many ideas. I need time to execute. But you guys. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, so I think I'm gonna get going. I hope you guys have a beautiful, wonderful week and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the fall, and should prove to be an interesting time. Oh, I just found out that Ron Paul was in the hospital because I think, did he have a stroke or something? So I just want everybody to say a prayer for Ron Paul. I adore Ron Paul. I've adored him for over a decade when we first learned about him and knew who he was. So if you guys don't know who he is and what his work is about, you guys go check out his work. He's an amazing, amazing, God-loving man. His son is Rand Paul, the senator of Kentucky. So they're going through some interesting times, and I think with the whole Breonna Taylor case and everything, so Kentucky is getting ready to, go through some stuff. So let's pray for that state as well. Those that are usually used for coloring. That's it. Interlock in knitting. That's the word I was trying to. I think intarsia sounds right for crochet. Interlock. That's what I was thinking for knitting. That is the word. So yeah, I feel like those little things will work out well for that. But speaking of Kentucky, I was just saying what's very different about BLM going through Kentucky. It should be interesting to find out because Kentucky loves their Second Amendment. So unlike riots in New York and unlike where it's a gun-free state, supposedly, I love the gun-free zones where only like all the good guys are not allowed to protect themselves, but the bad guys never care about laws or rules, right? I love that's like always the funny thing to me about it. But Kentucky is not. So I think if you are going to come to an area where you think you can riot and loot, or protest to an area where they are not, where they do protect themselves, where innocent, good people protect themselves. It should be interesting to see how that whole scenario plays out. And actually, BLM was actually in Lancaster a couple weeks ago, and that's near me. That's like an hour away from me. But they actually arrested them and kept them overnight and kept them until their trial date. So that's what you do with criminals when they kill, burn, steal, loot, all the crimes. You actually throw them in jail and you keep them there until their punishment sees fit, right? So, but that's not what's happening in Oregon. And then that's why you have whatever you got going on in Oregon. Because the same people that get arrested and do the crimes, they get released and then they go back out to do more crimes. It's really weird. It's really weird. It fascinates me too that people can't see that. It fascinates me that there's not a common sense about that where I'm like, crime, release, more crimes happen every night. It's almost like they do it on purpose. When Lancaster, the very next day, it's peaceful again because they took care of the criminals that were coming through and destroying their city. That's like it. Crazy times, right? But at least Libs doesn't have to deal with all this nonsense of the crazy world right now. Okay, guys, you have a fantastic week. I will, hopefully this week, I'm going to share some creative work that I'm working on. Let's pray, hopefully. Until next time, God bless and have a wonderful week. Thanks for joining me, Kelly and Lori. Thank you so much. It's made me not rambling on by myself. You guys have a wonderful week. God bless. Bye-bye.